Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Bill at Music School Rankings, and thank you for joining me. So I've just launched this website, and I'm super excited about it. And one of the first articles that we've published on this website is a listing of the top 15 schools overall. Now, I do rank schools at musicschoolrankings.com in by specific program. So, the top bassoon schools, top piano, top violin schools, top 10 ranked, all that jazz. But we have a special list, which is the top 15 schools overall, and I'm very confident in this list. So I'm going to go over the top 5 schools to pursue music in at the collegiate level. Number 5 is Berklee College of Music. And a lot of classical academics would scoff at that ranking, and that's because Berklee, although it does have a very good classical music program, is less known for its classical music program. But I'm not ranking it at number 5 on the sole basis of its strength as a classical music program. It's actually astonishing how many successful alumni have come out of the Berklee College of Music that work in mainstream music. I'm talking, the top jazz guitar, jazz pianists. Think about that Hiromi Uhara, and I think actually Keith Jarrett. I think he went there as well. So we're talking two major players in jazz piano. The top rock guitarists, John Petrucci, Steve Vai, amazing people. And just really like top producers, excellent music business program. Really, if you want to have a taste for the mainstream, taste for production, taste for jazz, if you want to pursue songwriting, Rivers Cuomo of Weezer actually went to Berklee, believe it or not, as well as John Mayer. So if you're looking to kind of pursue mainstream music, I would choose Berklee, and that's at number 5 on my list. Number 4 on my list is the University of Michigan Ann Arbor. Now I have to declare bias because I attended that school. That is actually my alma mater, and I graduated in 2011. But I stick by the number 4 ranking because I think it's excellent. They have amazing classical music programs there. I would say some of the very top musical theater, composition, cello, flute performance, tuba, and saxophone, I would say, are probably the best disciplines at that school. And there are amazing people who teach there. Richard Aaron is a cellist professor there, and he regularly sends students to top orchestras. I know Professor Amy Porter, she teaches there as well, and she just recently had a former student go to the Los Angeles Philharmonic, which is a pretty huge deal. So the level of education there and the level of alumni that come out of there is amazing as well. Did you know that Darren Criss from Glee actually just recently graduated from there? So having some personal experience, I can tell you that it's a very well-rounded institution, and I wanted to put it at number 4 because the top 3 are very music-specific programs. So number 4, I wanted to put a good university in there because I think having a university education in addition to a music education is really a solid option for many musicians. Some musicians should have a dual degree if they're passionate about something, if they would like to pursue something outside of just music. So University of Michigan is really well-rounded academically, and I can just tell you that their collaboration opportunities are second to none. You can collaborate with dancers, you can collaborate with jazz artists if you're a classical musician, you can collaborate with audio engineering and amazing multimedia spaces. It's really quite an amazing institution that produces pretty awesome alumni and produces pretty awesome productions in itself. Really lights up actually Michigan and the Midwest as a whole in its music scene. Okay, so number 3 is a very interesting school. It's completely free if you get in. It's always been that way too. and that's the Curtis Institute of Music in Philadelphia. I would say Curtis, basically any program is amazing at Curtis. I mean, any musician would just, give anything to go to Curtis because the level of selectivity that goes into Curtis, the prestige you get as a musician who graduates from Curtis is pretty incredible. I would say their piano program is, probably the best piano program. I mean, there's a lot of good contenders, obviously, Indiana and Juilliard, off the top of my head, NEC as well. But Curtis is pretty standout piano program. Also, like viola, Roberto Diaz teaches there, and he's quite an amazing violist. They're super selective. They only have 160 students, give or take 5 in any given year, and there's no tuition at all. I believe I said that. It's just an amazing school, amazing conservatory. I guess you could knock it a little bit because you're very focused on music. There's not really any academic, collateral that you would get in a situation like the University of Michigan. But it is an amazing school. I mean, freaking Leonard Bernstein came from Curtis. Lang Lang and Yusha Wang, 2 of today's most foremost pianists, came from there. The number 2 school, and this is tough. I mean, once you get it, this high up on the list, it becomes quality problems. I mean, if you got into all top 5 schools on this list, I mean, you'd have a quality problem on your hand. Number 2 is the Yale School of Music. Yale is also free, and has a historical excellence to it. I mean, Curtis does too. Don't get me wrong, but Yale seems to be very hip right now, and I think that's because of a $100 million anonymous endowment that was made. I don't know, 5-7 years ago, something like that. It's received quite a lot of attention since then as a top music school. I can tell you their composition program is, likely the best in the country. They have so many amazing names on the list. I mean, Pulitzer Prize winners, and that's a plural. I mean, they have David Lang and Aaron Kernis, who are awesome composers and completely deserve their awards. Their alumni are exceptionally involved in the New York City music scene too. So that's kind of like a good gateway to go to if you're trying to get into that New York City music scene. And it's also only 2 hours away from New York City, so its location is really good. And I mean, it goes without saying for any of these schools on the top 5, but Yale sends students to top academic professorships and top orchestral positions, every single year. You just look at the biographies of musicians in any major orchestra, and I guarantee, a decent number of them will have come from Yale. So that leaves me with the number 1 school in the entire country, and if you haven't guessed it by now, because maybe its absence was that notable in the previous 4 listings I just made, and that's the Juilliard School. Juilliard is, kind of in a league of its own. It really is the best everything program. I mean, I could list out some programs, off the top of my head: composition, piano, violin, trombone, for sure. Per Brevig and Joseph Alessi are amazing performers and teachers. I would say Juilliard is definitely the best school in the country and has been for a long time. The top musicians in today's classical music world came out of Juilliard. I mean, we're talking people along the lines of Yo-Yo Ma. They're really second to none, and their faculty is amazing. I mean, did you know that Itzhak Perlman is on their violin faculty? He's a superstar. So is Emanuel Ax, who's a superstar pianist. And even if you don't end up studying with a superstar, I mean, their teachers are amazing. I mean, Julian Martin is one of today's, best piano teachers, and his students have done incredible things. And, the location couldn't be better. You're close to Carnegie Hall. You're in the whole Avery Fisher area, Lincoln Hall. Lincoln Center, I mean. You're close to Merkin Concert Hall when you're at Juilliard. I mean, the amount of culture that you take in when you live in New York City is amazing. And as a student at Juilliard, you're sort of given privileged access to that. You go to any club and you say, "I go to Juilliard," people are gonna treat you with respect. So those are my top five. There were a lot of amazing schools that I deliberated, day and night to put into the top five. I guess I'll name a few of them. University of Southern California, Thornton School of Music is awesome. The Eastman School of Music is tight. Just right on the fringe of this list is Indiana University Jacobs School of Music. Pretty amazing program that I would recommend any musician to look into. There's also like a lot of other programs that are like kind of younger, but are really good. Two that come to mind are the Colburn School in Los Angeles and Bard College Conservatory, which is in Annandale on Hudson, New York. Okay, well, those are the top five schools, and then of course some, honorable mentions. Let me know what you think are the top five schools. Let me know what school you go to. Let me know anything that's on your mind. I would love to hear it. Love to kind of engage in some talking here on YouTube. So, towards your artistic dreams and visions, this is Bill at Music School Rankings. Have a good one.